So we are on the page 8, in the middle of the page. Continue our discussion over the issue of achot isha. So just for those new faces, we have a discussion when it's come to ייבום, to levirate marriage, how you're treating, why you need a special source to prohibited a sister of the wife. Meaning we understand that the key point of ייבום from all the previous sessions is applies solely to the brother from the wife of the deceased brother from the father. But we have a long discussion over the word aleha, and we explain all these sources. Now when it's come to achot isha, to the sister of the wife, why we need a separate source. Rava Amar, it's in the middle of the page. Rava Amar erva, is the two versions. Here they said erva gufa lo tzricha kra. Rava said that the whole halacha we have to understand a very different way, which is when it's come to a forbidden relations, the en aseh dochel lo taseh sheyesh bo karet. Meaning, Rava disputed the 2 points we have earlier. He's not accepted the first one because he's not going by the way Ula explains. That's basically Tosfot view. He's not accepting the other one because he said those hekesh we hold in regards to arayot, they only apply to one to another. But when it's come to hekesh, Tosfot explained that that's the Torah excluded it, like the wife of the brother. So for those who are not so familiar, so we just want to make sure that we all are on the same page, right? What happened is we have a contradiction in the Torah. One place in the book of Leviticus we said a list of abominations. All the relation, like the daughter, sister, all kind of things that it prohibited. It is a blood manners. Then we have another source that go further in the Mishnah and speaks about the next stage, which is Isurei Chitun, someone who married to your son, so you are prohibited to them. Then we talk about Eshet Achiv Shelo Haya B'olamo, a brothers that one of them, we use this example, it's happened a lot of time in Israel, young soldiers get killed while he was newly married, and the parents have another child, and now the new child, we ask the whole idea of levirate marriage to marry with with the wife of the deceased brother, and that's the third stage. And we ask a question. On one hand, the Torah gives us a list of the prohibited relation. On the other hand, the Torah said in Deuteronomy 25 that there is a concept of levirate marriage, what means that if there are two brothers and one marry a wife and he left her childless, the Torah allows, we have many guests here, the Torah allows those who are not in that situation, meaning they have no children, to marry the wife of the deceased. And not just that, the Torah calls it even as a mitzvah because they like to say that it's stay within the family. So we ask a question, that dynamics between prohibitions that the Torah said that it's a violation of Torah law versus that it's a mitzvah to do it. How you go about with these two opposites. So it said ki tzrich kra lemeisar tzara, which means when you have a rival, a co-wife. So therefore we are prohibited the ייבום, we are the verses that use the word aleha, with her, is necessary to prohibit a rival wife. As a rival wife is not prohibited to the Yavam as a prohibited relations. So the Gemara asks, "Ve'erva lo tzricha kra?" You mean to say that the Tanah does not maintain that when it's come to the forbidden relation, that is not necessary the verse to prohibit the deliberate marriage. Vatanya, we learn, if you remember on page 3, Ein li ela hi we said that we have nothing out of Torah that this woman accept from the levirate marriage. Why? So she is, that's applied to her, mishum tzarata, because to her rival wife, because the Braita does not mean that lachar of women whom their relation are basically prohibited is derived from this verse, rather that we said that it's a rival wife. So we said mishum tzarata, the whole idea, it's because of that. V'atane enli elahen, which means the arayot atzmam, those specific, but not the others. So it said mishum tzarotehem. The Braita said that the tzarot, the co-wives, are prohibited in a ייבום. So meaning, if the man has more than one, those co-wife is not just. We don't say that he can go and do levirate marriage, it's even prohibited to do it. Tashma, Rabbi Omer, Rabbi challenged that, because he zoomed in the text. We said in Deuteronomy 25, is that Yevama, the brother-in-law, yavo alea, he should have relation with her, ulkachalu leisha v'imma. So the Torah did not use the word velakach meaning that he should, in a sense, take her, but the Torah used the word ulkacha. It's not written veyabem. It said veyibma, consummate her. Le'esor, the Torah come and prohibited tzarot va'arayot, to prohibit rival wives, and women with relations are forbidden. So the Gemara said, Eima le'esor tzarot shel arayot. Maybe that's prohibition applied to women whose relations are forbidden. We have two sources. Yomi said that one applies to what? To the erva, and the other one is for the co-wife. So it said lo ilividi letzara, אחד למייסר צרה במקום מצווה, אחד למישר צרה שלא במקום מצווה. So here you see that this again, this dynamic, when it's the permitted rival wife in a place where is the mitzvah is not applicable, one the other way. My tama, how do you find from here to allow this situation of a rival when it's not a mitzvah? So they said v'yibem, the Torah said v'yibem instead of v'yibma, b'mkom ייבום hu de asira tzara. When it's a place where the levirate marriage applies, that a rival wife is prohibited. However, shelo b'mkom ייבום, in place where the levirate marriage is not applicable, Sharia tzara, a rival wife is permitted. Amar Rav Ashi matnin idna medaika. You can drive it from Mishnah. Diktani 15 נשים פותרות צרותיהם. We said in the Mishnah there is 15 cases of women that exempt the rival wives. ואילו פותרון ופתורות לא קטני, and we don't say are exempt and the exempt others is not taught shma mina. So I see in your eyes that here you want me to explain a little more. Okay, so you have here exceptions. What does that mean? We have certain indication of certain category. You have these women who are themselves have this type of forbidden relations, and it's not necessitate any special way, and that's the conclusion. The conclusion that this Rabbi's opinion is correct. You don't need a special limud. So again, as far as the Mishnah is concerned, we have a list of 15 cases. We start with the blood relatives, which is a prohibition for men to have relation with immediate family, again, daughter, etc. And then you go to the next step, which is isurei chitun, someone who prohibited from his mother-in-law that come to the picture because of marriage, or daughter-in-law, that's the next stage. And the third one is the wife of a brother that wasn't alive when that happened. Ma'ishna erva, the lo tzrich hakra. So why it's so different about the forbidden relation that applies to a verse that it's not necessary to exclude it? So they said, the nase dochel lo taseh shesh bo karet. Tzara lo tiba ikra mishum de nase dochel lo taseh shesh bo karet. Because again, it should not be the same way as a rival wife. It's also not require additional verse, because you have a positive mitzvah that not override the prohibition that involved karet. Karet meaning the Torah said that soul shall be cut off. So it means that when you use the Leviticus 18 to be a rival to her, it teaches that the rival wife of a wife's sister is prohibited like the wife of sister herself. אמר לרב אחא בר ביבי, אמר לרבינה אחא כאמרינא משמי דרבא. צרה נמי לא צריכה קרא. You don't need the rival wife too. Why? Because you don't need it עליה with her to add it. Why? So he said, כי צריך קרא. When you have this verse, it's because 8b. So the Gemarrah said, למישרי צרה שלא במקום ערווה. So he said, to allow a rival wife in a place that there is a mitzvah of Levirate marriage is not applicable. My tama. So what's the reason? Which means, how is this inferred? So here in my book, ביאורי כלומר ברש"י על הש"ס, I explain, Rashi said here, my tama, כלומר, היכם מדרשה היתר מהכה. So it means, how do you derive it from the word aleha? I wrote a lot on this in my book. You're welcome to read more on this Rashi. Anyway, so he said, Amar kra aleha bimkom aleha, which means the Torah said use with her. It is in a place where the obligation her brother-in-law will have intercourse with her is applicable, that a rival wife is prohibited. So he said, Hu de asira shelo bimkom alea sharia. In the place where the obligation, her brother-in-law will have relation with her, so there it's not, a rival wife is permitted. So you learn, if you remember on page 3, that Gzera Shava, that comparison. So in conclusion, you don't need to have a special limud, a special source in order to prohibit the erva in ייבום, because you don't have a positive mitzvah aseh, doche lo taseh, override negative when it's involved with karet, litzro, meaning that the rival one are prohibited the same as erva. So you don't need to learn that itzu. That's the way the Ramban and the Torah explained to us. Amar le Rami bar Chama le Rava. So according to what you said, the word aleha applies to the sister of the wife. So you say that that's apply also in a case that the mitzvah of Levirate marriage is not applicable. So he said, ve'elav kal v'chomeru. You mean to say that it's not a kal v'chomer, that erva itself is prohibited? Bimkom mitzvah asira. When you have a prohibited is in a place where is the mitzvah, so you can say that it's prohibited. But shelo bimkom mitzvah, when it's a place that is not a mitzvah, so sharia, so it's a permitted when there's no mitzvah. So Rami bar Chama, he said, Amar le tzarat orichiach. He said that the rival wife can prove this kal v'chomer. How? Bimkom mitzvah asira shelo mitzvah sharia. That's the source. So Rava said, Amar le alecha, Amar kra, because of you claim, the Torah said, bechayeha. What does that mean? In her life. Which means that when it's come to all of those cases, kol shebechayea, as long as it's in the lifetime of her sister, she is prohibited, even when there's no mitzvah applies. Ha bechayea mibayle lemauto lachar mita, which means as long as she's live, so you learn from in her lifetime that it's necessary. So you have the plain meaning to exclude lemaute lachar mita, that the time after her death. That's which means that when it's come to wife sister, is forbidden only when the wife is still alive. But where after her death, so the sister is permitted. So the Gemara asks, as you see, we are now not in conclusion, we're in a process of getting to the mindset of the rabbis, how they come to these conclusions. So they say that he, in that source, ve'isha el achota nafka. The Torah said in Leviticus 18:18, they use the word, and you shall not take a woman to her sister. So what does that mean? that when one of them is dead, is no longer considered a woman to her sister. That's the point. So he said, if that's the source, so maybe אישה לאחותה, אבל מן התגרשה שריה. We understand when she's divorced, so a sister permitted. Talmud lomar bechayeha. Therefore, the Torah used the word in her lifetime, which means that their prohibition is really in effect when kol shebechayeha, after nitgarsha lo, in all of her lifetime, which means that although she is divorced, her sister is not permitted, because she is still alive. אלא אמר רב הונא בר תחליף המשמי דרבא, תרי קראי כתיבה. We have two sources. כתיב אישה אל אחותה לא תיקח לקצרו. The Torah said in one place that you should not take a woman to a sister to be a rival, which indicates that two rival wives are prohibited. וכתיב לגלות ערוותה. And it says to uncover her nakedness. דחה דמשמע הכיצד. Why you need both? במקום מצווה שניהם אסורות. In the place that there is a mitzvah of levirate marriage, so both the forbidden relation and her rival wife are prohibited. שלא במקום מצווה, when it's not in the mitzvah of levirate marriage, so he asura, the prohibition is to her, וצרתה, but her rival wife, מותרת, she's permitted. So the Gemara said, come on, it's the opposite, eipuch ana. I can reverse it. במקום מצווה היא אסורה, when it's come to the mitzvah, the forbidden relation is prohibited to her rival wife. וצרתה מותרת, and the rival wife is permitted. ושלא במקום מצווה, in a place where there is no mitzvah, שתיהן אסורות, both of them are prohibited. So עליה, it's attached to the word לגלות ערוותה. So this means one of them. So Gemarrah said, אם כן לא יאמר עליה. So if that's the case, we should not say with her. So it means that because it appears superfluous, it teaches that the prohibition with regard to rival wife applies only when the mitzvah of a brother-in-law will have the Torah use the word intercourse with her. How do you know from the word alea that applies to the isur tzara, the prohibition of the rival when it's come to ייבום? Dilma lehetera, thank you. Dilma lehetera, where maybe you learn it to teach the erva and tzara when it's come to mitzvah. Avachika kama rachmana. Isha לאחותה לא תיקח לצרו, a sister and a wife you should not take together. לא היא ולא צרתה שלא במקום עליה. אבל במקום עליה שתיהן מותרות. When it's come to עליה with her, both of them are permitted. So Rav Kahana responded and he said, אם כן לגלות ערוותה דחה דאיך משכחת לה. So therefore, what does that mean to uncover her nakedness? What's referred to one woman? Under what circumstances can you find in this case? אם במקום מצווה שתיהן מותרות. If it's involved in mitzvah, they are both permitted. איש שלא במקום מצווה, if it's no mitzvah, שתיהן אסורות, they are both forbidden. So the rival wife is forbidden only in a case where the mitzvah of levirate marriage is in effect. So now we go to the basic. Gufa, Rabbi Omer velakach ulkacha v'yibem v'yibma. That's the sources we just mentioned earlier. So he said, le'esor tzarot va'arayot. This is to tell us that we are forbidden of the rival wife and women whom the relation are forbidden. So the Gemara said, "Mide tzarot ktiva hacha." So how do you know that it applies to those rivals? Ve'od tzarot militzror nafka. We learn that the word tzarot, a rival wife, we learn to be a rival wife, not in this source. So they said litzror. Mapik le Rabbi lech de Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi derives a different halacha to be a rival wife. They follow Rabbi Shimon because Rabbi Shimon's opinion, exemption of the two sisters from levirate marriage applies only when the yavam is married to one of the sisters. But also if the two sisters who come before him for levirate marriage were previously married to one of his brothers. So in that case, the levirate bond itself is sufficient for them to be considered rival wives of one another. So they say tzara hachaktiv, where you find a rival wife. written. So he said, הכי כמה, אם כן למקרא ולקח, מהי ולקחה? כל אחד איקה תרי לקוחים. די בין הסיבאי, וי בין הסיבאי, if you have an option to take one of them, sharia. So each of them allowed. ואילו, תרוויו אסירים, both them are not, וייבמה, במקום ייבום לאסיר הצרה. If it's applied to have some type of way to allow the levirate marriage, so then the application of the rival wife that is prohibited. שלא במקום ייבום, sharia צרה, but when there's a place that levirate marriage is not applicable, the rival wife is permitted. ורבנן. So how the sages interpreted the verse. So how do you explain the word her intercourse with her? How did they interpret it? So they said, מבעל לך דרבי יוסי בר חנינא. ואמר רבי יוסי בר חנינא, הוא ככה מלמד שמגרשה בגרת ומחזירה. That's fascinating. You know what he said? He said, you know what he has to do with her? He had divorced her, he gave her a divorce after levirate marriage, and she can no longer be released by וחליצה, and then he subsequently remarry her, if he wishes. ויבמה על כורחה. But when he said, when he consummated the levirate marriage with her, it means against her will, which means although betrothal in general does not take effect without the woman's consent, when it's come to levirate marriage can be affected against her will. That's his view. ורבי, so הרבי יהודה הנשיא interpreted, רבי יוסי בר חנינא לאישה נפקא. He derived it from that verse, לאישה, to be his wife, Deuteronomy 25. על כורחה מיבמה יבוא עליה נפקא. You have to say it that it's come from the word her brother-in-law have intercourse with her, which means that he can achieve without her consent. ורבי, היי עליה מה יביא לה, how he explained the word with her, מבעי לך דתניא, אין חייבים על בדיני אלא על דבר שזה לא קרה בשגרתו אחד וכן המשיח. So now we go to a relatively new subject, which is, here we talk about the parelem davar. So you said that the court is obligated to bring a bull of a sin offering for something that it was shgaga, was unwittingly committed communal sin on the account of mistake, make a mistake. It's only by method what is the intentional sin incur and correct, and whose those shgaga, those unwitting violation necessitate the sacrifice of the sin offering. And similarly, the anointed v'chen HaMashiach, which is the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, who also bring a bull for mistake, for shigaga, unwittingly committed sin, is obligated to do so only if his mistake involved a matter whose intentional transgression incur correct, and whose mistake, the shigaga, an unwitting transgression, necessitated the sacrifice of the sin offering. Page 9, ולא בעבודה זרה. So, and it's not applied to idol worships, only in the act of idolatry that involve הדבר שדנים אז דונו קרב ושגתו חטאת. Matter that intentional violation, one liable to receive correct, and it's not intentional violation, sin offering. ותננה, מכל מצווה שבתורה שחברים אז דונו קרב ושגתו אחד, אחים מביא כזבה או זהירה, נשים מביא שעיר, משיח בדין מביאים פרס. It's different category, what's the exact offering. So for example, when you have the Kohen Gadol, he needs to bring a bull. ובעבודה זרה, when it's come to unintentionally sin that involved with idol worshipping, so he said, Yachid, Nasi, Mashiach, Mevim Sira, both of them, if it's individual, if it's the president, if it's the anointed Kohen Gadol, high priest, bring a she-goat. When it's a community, Tzibur, Mevim Par V'Seir, bring a bull and a goat, Par Lola V'Seir Lechatat. Okay, so a bull, burnt offering, and goat for sin offering. So he said, Hanemile, from where you know it, the Tanur Rabbanan, Notna Chatat Shechatu Aleh, the Torah said in Leviticus 4, and the sin which they have seen is known. Rabbi, you learn in juxtaposition with two verbal analogy, both of them said Aleha, which means Aleha mean unto. What does that mean? The same way that one place the matter is intentional violation, one is liable to receive karet, and for unwitting violation is liable to bring a sin offering, so that's apply also the other one. So now we're going to ask, how you differentiate between tzibur and Mashiach, and that's going to be the next session.
לשולוים מלאכי ישולוים מלאכי